for somewhere I never eat.
Madam Chair, I believe we are ready to begin the meeting.
Thank you, Cassandra. Welcome, everyone. This is the Thursday, February 10th meeting of the Meridian Arts Commission. Our mission is to develop, advance, and nurture all facets of the arts to enhance the quality of life for Meridian residents and its visitors. So with that said, let's do a roll call. Lizzie?
Here.
Jessica?
Here.
Natalie?
Here.
Bonnie, I'm here. Leslie?
Here.
Jennifer? Tom? Rhea? Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is adopt the agenda for the meeting. Could I have a motion?
So moved? Oh, wait. Was there a...
Go ahead, I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda has been adopted. Approval of the minutes of the January 13th meeting. Could I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the minutes from our January 13th, 2022 meeting.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved from the January 13th meeting. Item number 2 is the approval of the monthly financial statements. Can I have a motion to approve those?
Madam Chair, so moved. Or second?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The monthly financial statements are approved. Next item, we'll start out with the Arts and Culture Coordinator report. Cassandra?
Madam Chair, Commissioners, this is a little bit different than we've had in the past meetings. I will be giving the Arts and Culture Coordinator report as a staff report in most of the commission meetings from this point forward. So here is my first one. So I wanted to give an update on the mural from the Key Design Group. The Meridian Library District and their legal counsel have reviewed the memorandum of understanding and returned with edits. The city actually reviewed the edits, and then the library district has returned them to us. So at this point, they are going to be looking at these at their next meeting on the 16th. And if that's approved, then we can move to the design stage. And to give you a little bit of a reminder, if it's been a little bit of a while since you've seen some of these pieces, this is some previous murals from Key Design. And I also wanted to tell you a little bit about the library. If you were unfamiliar with the Unbound Library, I met with Nick Grove, one of the librarians there. This is a really unique library. They focus on business and technology. They have very few books on their shelves. Instead of having rows and rows of books, they actually have a lot of technological tools, maker spaces, laser engraving, CNC machines, 3D printing, design labs, and a small business help center. Their focus is really to help make technology accessible. And as you can see in the image, that's Yuki Graviet. She's a librarian there that will be probably the main point of contact for some of the day-to-day details. And that's the wall that we are thinking about placing it. Update on the Sector 17 mural. This is the original location and design. We're still looking for a place for this mural. I had contacted DMB. That was not going to happen. I contacted Fred Myers. I sent email and called and contacted them through the website with no response. Albertsons, I also called with no response. I did get a response from the business center that we had been looking at from the wife, and it turns out that the owner of the business center is our Idaho state representative and his brothers. So they initially were interested, but it's been 3 weeks since I've heard from them. I would recommend continuing to look for some new locations for that. There was a church at one point. We can discuss this more in the subcommittee, but I did want to bring one potential location that came to my attention, which is the Meridian swimming pool. The city of Meridian has finalized agreements to take over management of the city pool. This is just a couple days ago. The plan is to take ownership of the pool from the West Ada Recreation District in 2024. This pool is adjacent to Story Park and the Chamber of Commerce and the Bark Park. It's high visibility, high traffic, prominent location. This would probably mean a more intensive redesign than some of the other locations like DMB, because the bee and agricultural things might not be as fitting with the pool. At any rate, we are going to have to pay some sort of redesign fee. Initially, Sector 17 had said probably $500 for the redesign just on a different building. So it would probably be more than that, but I can continue looking at that. We can talk about this in the Public Art Subcommittee meeting, but at this, I have more, but I want to pause for a moment to take any comments that you might have on this. Any thoughts about the pool?
I think it's a great.
Madam Chair, Cassandra, commissioners, the bee is so beautiful, and I'm wondering, because isn't this, and correct me if I'm wrong about where it's situated, doesn't the park building, isn't it close? Is it visible from Story Park, or is this the other side of it?
It is visible from the park.
Because since parks are natural green spaces, maybe the bee could still work. I don't know. I don't know. That's public art committee stuff, but I look at that and I think it's in a natural space. It might, it might still work. It's just what I'm saying. Or we could put a cute dog on there since it's close to the dog park. A dog and a bee.
The owner of the pool will still be West Ada Recreation District, so we would have to get permissions from West Ada Recreation District. Though with the city taking ownership, or the planning to take ownership in 2024, the permissions for this one might be a little bit easier to get than some of the past ones that we've been looking at.
That could be a great location, though.
All right, I'm going to move on to the next item that I wanted to report on, which was the public art plan. I met with Commissioner Jessica Peters about this, and I've reviewed the MAC strategic plan, the VIA partnership that had been done, the existing draft that the previous Arts and Culture coordinator had put together that was still pretty unfinished, the MAPS budget, the Idaho Smart Growth Placemaking Downtown document, the charrette notes that was led by Commissioner Tom Vanucci, and several mid-sized city public art plans listed below. And I also put in parentheses who put those plans together for Redwood City, Fung Collaboratives, Fargo, North Dakota's Forecast, Emeryville. It appears that 3 city staff, 2 city managers, and a development coordinator of the Public Art Committee did put that one together. Sparks, Nevada was in-house, they did it themselves. Huntsville, Alabama was VIA, which is the one that had done the partnership with the city of Meridian. And Eugene was Barney and Worth, Hillsborough, Oregon was Creative Planning, Inc. One thing that I wanted to note is that most of the public art plans that we're looking at were completed by outside entities. So we can talk about this in the public art subcommittee meeting about the next steps for this and figuring out where we want to go. Art Week, I'm just going to briefly touch on because we'll be talking about this in the Events and Outreach Subcommittee. I just listed some of the past projects that had been there and thinking about new and upcoming things that might be contained within Art Week. There's partnering with Main Street Market, the Treasure Valley Children's Theater, doing some sort of temporary public art project, and Tammy DeWeird's Awards in the Arts, presented by the mayor, which we will talk about in a later agenda item. Another activity is Madam Chair Bonnie Zahn Griffith and I met with Art Davies. He is the promoter director of the Treasure Valley Fine Arts Festival. If you're not familiar with this festival, its first year was last year. They had about 80 artists, and this year they hope to have 100 to 120 artists. This is in Julius Kleiner Park. It's a really big and very nice festival, and so we were talking about ways that the Arts Commission might partner with them. Last year, I was a judge with Randy Van Dyke, and so I approached him and asked if the commission might be judges for this year, and he was very amenable to that, as well as the potential for having a booth and activities. So we will talk about that in the Events and Outreach Committee. Initial Point Gallery update. I'm still working on a few acceptance agreements. There's some that are ready for council, some that need follow-up. The September show, we're going to draft that one. It sounds like we came to some consensus in the Initial Point Gallery subcommittee. There's also a tentative schedule that you'll find attached to the agenda. And I don't know if anyone's noticed, but the social media has been a bit more active than it has been in the past. And the next show is the Treasure Valley Artist Alliance. I would like to also put out a request for some help. This is a big job, and anywhere that I can get help, you're a really active Arts Commission with a lot going on. So here are some ways that you could help me. The subcommittee meetings, the minutes that are in those, if anyone on those subcommittees could take the minutes and type them up, that would be a huge help. Something you could do. The graphic design for the Initial Point Gallery shows would be great. The next show for Treasure Valley Artist Alliance, they're doing their own poster, which is great. But if anyone has some graphic design experience and wanted to volunteer for that, that would be great. Volunteers for the Initial Point Gallery hanging. We have many of you that do that already. But any of those that you can come help with is great. For the social media, if you have ideas or images and write-ups, if you wanted to send those to me, I can schedule those in advance. So it has to be sort of approved by the city, but I'd like to work with you on continuing to have more active social media. The traffic box spreadsheet is another one that needs a lot of updating. And potentially that's something that I could get some help. We could divide and conquer, and people could pick 5 traffic boxes to go around, check out the traffic box, kind of do a condition report, maybe take an image, see if there's any damage, that kind of thing. I would also like to request, if you haven't signed up already for the Initial Point Gallery hosting, we have several shows that still need a host. So we're not quite clear about the West Ada School District show in May. There wasn't a show scheduled. I'll reach out to the contact for that, but we might want to host for that. And then also the months of August. Madam Chair Bonnie is unable to do September. So August, September, October, November, December, we need hosts for. So anyone who would like to sign up for those, please do. I think my presentation is running longer than the 10 minutes I anticipated. So again, like I said, this is a big job, and there's a lot to it. So I did want to talk a little bit about some of my goals and visioning for this year. And on this page, you'll see these are the goals that are coming from Meridian City and the Parks and Recreation for this position. And the one that's bold, these are sort of in order. The one that's bolded there is to draft and adopt the public art plan that is coming from the city, not just Parks and Rec. So that's kind of the top priority for me this year. Continuing to facilitate existing programming, Initial Point Gallery, Art Week, concerts on Broadway, securing the locations for those Meridian mural series, having an understanding of the MAPS budget, the overall Meridian Arts Commission budget, and the historic preservation budget. And this last item was more to do before deliver information and contact about the 10-mile trailhead. I think if I'm rewriting that, it's just kind of facilitate and see the 10-mile project to completion. So those are the goals from the city that I need to be doing. But what you can help me with here are some other goals envisioning what does success look like in 2022 from the commission. So there's a huge list of these things. What this is going to look like, I'm going to come up with a spreadsheet and send this out to you, and I'm going to ask you to rank some of these items. You're welcome to add items, but sort of rank this, 1 through 25. What are the most important things? So that when I'm doing my day-to-day to-do lists, I can sort of think, oh, this is the thing that I need to put before this thing to try to make some of these things happen. Ideally, I would love to do every single thing on that list, but I don't quite have the bandwidth. So that is my presentation, and I'd like to open it up for any questions or thoughts.
Any questions for Cassandra? That was an amazing presentation. Thank you.
Madam Chair, that Cassandra, that's what I was going to say. This is really, really clarifying to set out the goals, and I love that it's very, very it's detailed, and it gives us things that we can do specifically to help. And I also noticed that Instagram and Facebook follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We're on top of the agenda today. I love that. Yeah, it's a new addition. So thank you. Thank you. That's it.
Anybody have any other comments? Thank you so much, Cassandra.
Thank you very much.
Item number 4 on the agenda is the update of the Initial Point Gallery Subcommittee. Natalie, would you like to do that, please?
Yes, Madam Chair. We have currently the show upstairs is Fred Choate, Karen Eastman, Matt Serrani, and Haley Maxwell. We had an opening on Friday. About 30-ish people came. Bonnie was our host. And so it's a great show. I would encourage everyone to get up there and check it out and bring your friends so we can have continue to have our gallery be a success. We did go over the upcoming year's schedule, and we have most of that all solidified. As Cassandra said, we had a few more people under contract, so we are getting there with finalizing 2022. We approved some edits for our call to artists, and that will go out in the next month or two, end of March or so is the plan. And then we just had discussed changing September's opening to maybe coincide with Art Week rather than the Friday before Labor Day, as we didn't have much traffic this past September. So we're still waiting to see if maybe we can coordinate with the Art SIP, the Arts Foundation's fundraiser evening. We did have not an opening, but we had a showing that night this past year. So we're hoping that would be maybe a good way to get more people up there during September. Besides that, yes, we would love some hosts. It's a pretty fun evening. It's very not intimidating. You just have to go and have a smile and welcome the people who come and interact with the people who are coming around the gallery. So let us know what month you would like. So that's all I have. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thanks, Natalie. Next is the update for the Events and Outreach Subcommittee. Leslie, would you please give your report?
Yes, of course, we're just ramping up to the concerts on Broadway, and this is a little bit tricky because we're still kind of trying to hire the bands that we had promised that kind of went during our cancellations. So I'm happy to report that we have fulfilled our dance card on that this year, and we have 3 bands. August 27th, we're suggesting Smooth Avenue. September 10th, High Street, which it'll be great to have them back because last year they said they had just not been able to rehearse enough, and so they're back up. They're really strong. And September 24th, we're proposing Soul Patch, who we've had them before. I heard them recently, and they have them. They were good when they came before, but they've gotten even better. And I heard them recently at the Sandbar, and they're just really cool. They're a local group, women, female harmonies. They used to be mostly country. Now they are doing some 70s, 80s covers, a couple originals here and there. And we had talked to them about coming back. So that would be what we would need to approve today. And I'm really excited to have High Street back because they really did help to build the concerts on Broadway from the very beginning. And not only that, but they moved a business here from Washington to Meridian. So that's just been a really wonderful partnership that we've had through hiring them. So once again, August 27th, Smooth Avenue, September 10th, High Street, and September 24th, Soul Patch. So that's we would need to approve that today.
So do we need to approve that roster? Okay.
Yes, the commission needs to discuss and approve.
So can I have a motion to approve the Concert on Broadway series?
Madam Chair, I move that we, pardon me, approve what you said you wanted to have approved.
The bands.
The bands.
The bands.
Thank you, Lizzie. Do I have a second?
Madam Chair, I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Also, I'm still working on deciding if we want to re-expand this year into opening acts with the student artists. So I'll be working with the Meridian Symphony Orchestra on that and see if we can coordinate some of that and maybe some outreach again this year. That's it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All in favor of approving that motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the band list for concerts on Broadway is as listed by the chairman of that subcommittee. Thank you, Leslie. Next is the Public Arts Subcommittee report. And welcome Bobby as the new chair for that subcommittee. Would you like to give that report?
Yeah, I thought I'd report the most difficult.
Thank you.
But it was, yeah, thanks, Madam Chair and everyone. I got an update on the 10 Mile Trailhead. As a subcommittee, we came up with a recommendation. We voted on a recommendation. We had 3 options that were presented, and I could go over I'll summarize the options here. Option number 1 was to ask the artist to redesign the piece. And this is for an additional estimated $15,000 and address the design concerns. And so that's option 1. Option 2 was revoke the offer to the artist and issue a new RFP. And this changes the scope, of course, of the RFP. And option number 3 was to move forward with the agreement that is offered to the artist. And so we just had a really good discussion. A lot of different perspectives and different ideas were presented. And so the option that was voted on was option number 2. And so that was to revoke the offer to the artist. And so we recommend that we basically yeah, option number 2, so I'm gonna leave it open to, at this point, to questions and, or, more discussion, but that's kind of our recommendations. You know, we thought of the artists heavily on this, you know, this vote. I mean, the artist for us was very important, and so, you know, but we also thought of, you know, our, you know, the overall scope and the city of Meridian and just overall the process that we've gone through to get here. And yeah, I think we feel confident that this option number 2 would make sense for everyone up to this point that has shared their concerns and their perspective. And so, yeah, that's where we stand on the 10-mile trailhead.
Thank you very much.
Madam Sir Chair? We call you Sir Chair?
I don't know.
If this body approves the second option, who specifically is the individual who revokes contract? We can't just sort of say, well, we sort of think it's revoked and we're kind of going to do this RFP and it has to have some changes. So who's going to do that?
Madam Chair, it's been done. City staff took care of it. So we, Cassandra reached out to the artist, and then I followed up with a colder email. So she's still on the roster of the Meridian Parks and Recreation artist roster. So she is, of course, disappointed, but she's okay. And Cassandra encouraged her to submit another proposal when the RFP is reissued, if that's what the commission recommends.
Makes sense.
So what's our step from the commission then? Do we have to approve the recommendation of the subcommittee to go with option number 2?
Madam Chair, yes, the commission needs to make the final decision so that the commission can consider the recommendation of the subcommittee in making that decision.
And so the recommendation of the subcommittee is option number 2, correct, Bobby?
Option number 2, and with the note that the scope will change, the RFP scope, so the amount and the scope of that will change. I'm not, we did also discuss what that change may look like, and it could be a change of up to like $15,000 added to the RFP, the new RFP.
Madam Chair, to clarify, that recommendation would then be to change the scope of the RFP and reissue a new RFP with a scope that is a $50,000 change, or for $50,000. Up to, yes.
Madam Chair, I want to clarify something I said. We didn't revoke the offer. We let the artist know that that's where the subcommittee had, what the subcommittee was going to recommend. So it's not official until the commission acts today. But she's aware that that's kind of where we're headed.
And Madam Chair, specifically, I said that at this time, we were not moving forward with the project as proposed, and that it would depend on this meeting, but that was kind of where it was heading. And she, the artist, was very understanding. She's professional. Obviously, she was disappointed, but professional.
So does the commission understand and agree with that proposal? And are you ready to move forward? And if to accept that, then we do need a motion. As stated by Bobby, option number 2. Can I have a motion for that?
Madam Chair, I'm sorry to interrupt again. Could we just please make sure that the motion includes a dollar amount as well? If the motion is to accept the recommendation of the committee to start over with another RFP, we're really looking for an action that moves the RFP forward. So if that could specify that amount of MAPS funds that the Arts Commission is willing to spend. Thank you.
Madam Chair, Emily, and Cassandra, is that amount then $50,000? That adjustment of the amount is $50,000 from MAPS funds, is that correct? That's the total amount, that's the total adjusted amount?
Yes, that's the $50,000 as the RFP project in total.
Okay.
Was the
great.
recommendation from the Public Art Committee.
Okay, so in this case, I'm going to limp along with a motion to approve the process as proposed by the Public Art Committee to revoke the current contract and reissue a new RFP with an amount from MAPS that will be spent of $50,000. Did I include everything?
Yes.
Okay.
Another small note, of course, is the schedule change will now mean however long it takes. I think we were shooting for no longer than a year, but.
Okay, Madam Chair, Emily, Cassandra, does that need to be included in the motion?
No,
Okay.
but thank you.
Thank you,
That's
Bobby.
an important point.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do we have a second?
Madam Chair, I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion has been carried. Next on the agenda is new business, upcoming subcommittee chairs' annual reports for the commission's annual report to City Council. So we need, if each of the committee chairs can prepare a report and get to Cassandra so that we can then move forward with doing our annual report to the city council members. And that has to be, that presentation to the city council, I believe, is April 5th. So I would really appreciate it if we could get those reports maybe by the end of February. Does that work for you, Cassandra?
Yes, Madam Chair.
And do we have, is that actually an action item? Do we have to vote on that? Okay. Item number 8 is the upcoming planning and logistics for the Mayor Tammy Awards of Excellence of the Arts for an arts advocate, an educator, an artist, and a student artist. So we did this, I believe, in 2019. We were on target to do that for 2020, and then COVID happened. So we're going back to trying to remember what we did. As I recall, we had plaques made. They were like fused glass that we gave to the recipients. And those recipients were determined from, I believe, public vote. It was put out that we could vote for, people could vote for persons that they saw fit for those awards. So I don't know how you want to go forth with that, Cassandra, if you want to, should we put that into a subcommittee or?
Madam Chair, I would recommend moving that into the Events and Outreach Subcommittee.
Events and Outreach. Are you good with that, Leslie? Okay. And then any updates on the Arts Commission seat vacancy, Cassandra?
Madam Chair, there have been a few applications that I'm aware of. The open position closes tomorrow, February 11th. And after it closes, the mayor will be scheduling interviews, I believe, with the chair, yourself, and himself to sit down with the candidates, and then we'll choose one. So potentially by the next commission meeting, we may have a new commissioner.
And I believe there were two spots that were, the terms were up, and I know that both have reapplied. So.
Madam Chair, I had just a point of order on that. I did get which might just be a reminder to people, I got a Facebook message directly to my messenger from a person I don't know, actually. Well, they're a Facebook friend, you know how that goes. Asking for, he had evidently, or he or she, I should have been less specific, had evidently applied for the City of Meridian, the open seat, and asked if I could give him any, if there were any pointers. And so I did not respond, but I just wanted to remind the commissioners that it was my instinct to say, oh yeah, and then I thought, no, I can't, that's against Robert's rules. So since I almost made the mistake, I thought I'd tell everybody, just be aware. It just came out of left field in a completely unexpected, I'm sure he's a very qualified candidate, but just for communications purposes. So yeah, anyway, that's it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so next is the Inclusivity Highlight Black History Month. Cassandra, did you have something?
Madam Chair, is that showing on your screen? Okay, this is the memo that's attached to the agenda in order to continue some of the commission's goals of arts access. This document's topic is, it's an inclusivity highlight for Black History Month, which is this month, February. Just encouraging everyone to become familiar with some contemporary Black artists and highlight some local organizations and performers. So Kerry James Marshall, he's a contemporary artist in Chicago. Art 21, if anyone happens to follow those, it's a PBS. It's on PBS. They're really great, and they actually have a whole series on the theme of Black American experiences. There's the Chicago Art Institute collection of Black artists, the Idaho Black History Museum that's in Julia Davis Park in Boise. Lita Harris Neustadtler, she's a local musician. And there was a nice statement by the National Endowment for the Arts Chair, Dr. Maria Rosario, who is one of the first Black directors of the National Endowment for the Arts. And I am hoping that this will work. Here is a short video that we can watch. It's just 2.5 minutes by Nick Cave, who's a contemporary Black artist, about his work. He does these sound suits that some of you may be familiar with. They're worn and performed in the streets as well as shown in museums. The sound may be an issue, I'm not sure. I think the sound is not working, so I'll just encourage everyone to watch that on their own time. It's a short and excellent video. And with that, Madam Chair, I think we're ready to conclude.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't make the video work. Adrian said I might have trouble with that, so.
Well, I would just like to say, first of all, thank you to Jessica for chairing the Public Art Subcommittee for as long as you have. and to Bobby for taking over that, and Leslie for continuing on with the events and outreach, and also to Natalie for the gallery committee chair. So with that, our next meeting is March 10th, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to adjourn our meeting.
I second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The meeting is now adjourned. Thank you all for attending in person and virtually.
Hi, guys.